करो। Hello, my dear students, very good afternoon. We are here to discuss another day's Hindu. Today we shall be discussing the last Saturday's Hindu newspaper, and tomorrow we shall discuss Sunday's and today's newspaper. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms. Post your comments against the video so that it will be a pointer for our future discussions. It will be a great encouragement to us. Please post your positive comments. Please give likes to our Facebook page and ensure that you all participate actively for the programs. We have daily 2 live programs through our mobile application. One is the news analysis at 12:30 and another one at 3 o'clock, a session on either math, QA or reasoning. So, we shall start discussing the Hindu dated February 6, 2021. This is the front page. Farmers road blockade today to exclude Delhi, Uttarakhand and UP. Farmers went for a national blockade, road blockade to attract the national attention on the 75 days long strike, 75-day long strike that they have been making for the repeal of 3 laws that were passed by the government. Munawar Farooqi gets interim bail. Supreme Court granted ad interim bail to comedian Munawar Farooqi in a case registered against him by Madhya Pradesh police for hurting religious sentiments. Governments all over are becoming oversensitive to criticisms. We shall go to different. This is the first main news. Farmers blockade today to exclude Delhi, Uttarakhand and UP. Delhi has already been under blockade. Uttarakhand and UP are spared because harvesting is taking place in these states. The harvesting of sugarcane is taking place in these 2 states. Road blockade planned by Farmers Union will exclude Delhi and Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh to ensure that the kind of violence that marred their tractor parades on Republic Day is not repeated. Samyukta Kisan Morcha leadership has issued strict guidelines to ensure a completely peaceful and non-violent agitation in the rest of the country, with a specific appeal not to engage in any conflict with the government authorities or other citizens. So, they too have learnt a lesson. The violence that marred the Republic Day protests invited severe criticism, and now they have learnt a lesson. They have decided to go very peacefully and protest all across India except these states to make sure that their fight succeeds. Farm says a threat to state finances, says Thomas Isaac, the finance minister of Kerala. See, this is a point that I would like to speak about. As per the constitution, taxes are to be shared between the center and the states. The shareable portion of taxes, it is presently 41%. 41% as per the 15th Finance Commission recommendation, 41% of the shareable taxes must be shared between the center and the states. So what does the government do? If you take the past few years, the central government has not been increasing taxes but has been increasing cess. So they are mobilizing more revenue through cess. Recently the government decided to impose 2.5% cess on petrol and diesel. So what is the difference? If it is a tax increase, then the increased revenue must be shared between the states, but cess need not be shared between the states. So this is why it is strongly criticized by the Finance Minister of Kerala. So cess route is largely taken these days, mostly taken these days by the central government. So if cess route is taken, then the increased revenue through cess need not be shared with the state, but if taxes are increased, the increased revenue must be shared with the state. So this is against the spirit of cooperative federalism. That is the essence of what Dr. Thomas Isaac says. So you should also understand that. New questions. ICMR serological survey findings may have relevance for modifying vaccination policy. The ICMR's serological survey findings, we spoke about it previously in the previous episode. We said that 20% of Indians have developed antibodies in them, meaning 20% are already affected with COVID-19. So now the article says, because of this particular findings, then we have to make a change in our stance on vaccination policy. The results of ICMR's third serological survey to ascertain the spread of COVID-19 show that nearly 1 in 5 Indians, about 270 million, may have been infected with the virus. The headline findings were publicized at a press conference, and it will be a while before granular details of the course of infection, as well as was known until December, will be made public in a peer-reviewed journal. So this particular 20% is a huge big jump from the previous data. So now these particular findings, with these particular findings, the government of India has to make some change in its vaccination policy. That is what the Hindu says. The third edition also included a serological survey of doctors, nurses and paramedical staff, revealing nearly 25%, significantly above national average, had been infected. So the so-called medical paramedical staffs, their figure is much more than the national average, 25%. Compared to reports of city-focused serology survey in Delhi and mathematical modeling estimates, ICMR survey results appear to be more conservative in estimating true spread. So the figure for December is much more than for September, October and October. So this figure is very big. 20% of the people are affected. We know that the herd immunity is achieved for almost 50% people in Delhi and in Pune. So this is one way. This has been what I have been advocating all the time through our discussions, that if you take the history of containing and controlling virus infections in the past, it has not been achieved through vaccinations, but it was the herd immunity that was developed that helped humanity to overcome the virus infections in the past. So a combination of social vaccination, meaning keeping social distance, maybe sanitizing your hands and wearing a mask, that is social vaccination. That may help you, that may help the society a lot. And of course the real vaccination to a great extent, but the real savior will be the herd immunity that is going to be developed. In this particular case, in this instant case of coronavirus, reports say that nearly 80% of the people do not even understand that they were affected with coronavirus. Symptoms of the virus infection will come to only the rest. Okay. The first question is given: India's Adani Group plans to develop the East Container Terminal ECT of Sri Lanka with which country? USA, China, Australia, Bangladesh, or none of these? Yes, with which country? Okay, I am just proceeding. It is none of these which is the answer. It is with Japan. A very important question. It is with Japan that India plans to develop the East Container Terminal of Sri Lanka. This was in the news recently because Sri Lankan government unilaterally cancelled the agreement, and Indian government is strongly negotiating further with the Sri Lankan government, persuading it to move away from its decision to move out of the agreement unilaterally. Terminal declined. India and Japan are important donors, and Sri Lanka must try and salvage the ECT deal, says the Hindu. The Rajapaksa government's decision to overturn Sri Lankan's tripartite agreement to develop Colombo's East Container Terminal is a setback to India and Japan. The project with an estimated 500 to 700 million was a key market for infrastructure investment in island nation where Chinese projects are most prominent. We know that Chinese investments are going up in Sri Lanka, which is a cause of concern for us. That is why India actively is participating in developing the East Container Terminal project in Sri Lanka along with another major donor, Japan. So the project is going to be 700 million. The Rajapaksa government unilaterally decided to move out of the tripartite agreement between Sri Lanka, Japan and India to develop the port jointly. But as per the agreement, 51% of the stake will be with Sri Lanka and the balance 41% to Japan and India, and 51 will be to Sri Lanka. This was the original agreement, but Sri Lanka unilaterally moved out of the agreement, and this is a matter of grave concern to India, and Indian diplomats are strongly negotiating with the Sri Lankan government to have a change in their mind. The second question: which state government has decided to waive farmers loan worth 12,110 crore with the cooperative banks? Is it Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Tamil Nadu or none of these? Yes, the answer is Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the answer. Tamil Nadu government has decided to waive farmers loans worth 12,110 crore with the cooperative banks. We know that Kerala, West Bengal and Tamil Nadu are election states in the year 2021. Of course, along with that, Assam is also going to polls. So Tamil Nadu government is trying to woo farmers in the 11th hour. $12,110 crore loan waiver for farmers in Tamil Nadu who have taken loans through cooperative banks. A prisoner's tragedy, a nation's shame. Perarivalan's case is an example of state agencies sacrificing the lives of those with a peripheral role in a conspiracy. Listen, the instant case is as regards the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. Perarivalan and a few others are languishing in Indian jails for the past 27 years. And in the instant case, Perarivalan's involvement is very minimum. During the trial, it was unearthed that Perarivalan even did not know who Rajiv Gandhi was. He was just accompanying the killers and he had to pay a heavy price. 27 years of his life had to be in the jail, and now the Tamil Nadu governor is to take a decision. He is authorized to take a decision now. In the latest case in the Supreme Court, Tamil Nadu governor submitted an affidavit in which he said it is up to the President of India to take this decision, and he is not the competent authority to take a decision. Supreme Court had previously said that it is up to the state government, it is up to the governor to take the decision, but governor has now put the ball in the court of the President. He deposed before the Supreme Court, saying that it is up to the President of India to take the decision. This is what is commented here, a very good article spelling out the relevant points of law. Perarivalan's case is an example of state agencies sacrificing the lives of people with peripheral role in a conspiracy. He has been in jail for the past 27 years seeking mercy of the state. 900% increase in rejection of crop insurance claims. Number of farmers' crop insurance claims that were rejected by insurance companies under the centre's flagship Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. This was a scheme of the state, Prime Minister of the central government, which was projected in a very heavy, big manner. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. The claims rejected is increased by 900%. 900% increase in the claims rejected by insurance companies under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. This particular information was spelled out by none other than Narendra Singh Tomar, the Agriculture Minister in Parliament. In 2017-18, the number of rejected claims was 92,869. The next year it is 2.04 lakh, and 2019-20 it is 9.28 lakh, signifying a whopping 900% increase. So farmers are taking insurance. When they apply for claims, it is mercilessly rejected by insurance companies. Farmers' woes continues. The third question, the Union government proposes to regulate OTT platforms. OTT stands for over the top, outside the tower, overwhelming transmission tracked out of the table, none of these. What is the answer? There are nearly 40 OTT platforms operating in the country. As a first step towards regulation, government amended the allocation of business rules in November last year to bring all OTTs under Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So, it can be seen as the first step towards regulating OTT. Presently, OTT is not regulated. So, government plans to regulate OTT over the top. This Amazon Prime, Netflix, etc. are examples of OTTs over the top. So, there are 40 OTTs in India. 40 OTTs in India. Examples are Amazon Prime, Netflix, etc. So far they have not been regulated. As a first step towards regulating them, Government of India brought them under the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So soon can they be regulated. Regulatory code for OTT content soon. 21 MPs cutting across party lines have sought an answer from the government about the content over OTT platforms such as Netflix and Amazon Prime, asking whether the centre was aware that such platforms were full of content with sex, violence, abuse, vulgarity and disrespect to religious sentiments. So the government answered that it was planning to regulate OTT. Question number 4. Pick out among the following the most correct statements with regard to aerospace sector as stated by the Defence Minister of India, Rajnath Singh. The aero component sector in the country is set to double from 30,000 to 60,000 crore by 2024. Government plans to bring down defence exports by at least 2 billion by 2022. We know that import bill is very high for India. So India is going to buy more domestic weaponries so that our dependence on imports can be reduced. 21 MSMEs that participated in the Aero India Bengaluru have won orders worth 203 crore. The country targets to domestic production of 25 billion and exports of 5 billion by 2025. Between 2016 and 2019, 138 proposals for domestic manufacturing worth 38 billion had been approved. Yes. What is the answer? I shall give the answer. The answer is all the above are correct. All the above are correct. Very important. Aero India 2021 was concluded in Bengaluru recently. Aero component sector to double 6 to 6,000 crore by 2024, says the newspaper report. NIA to probe blast near Israel embassy. We know that Israel embassy in New Delhi was in the news recently for detonation of a blasting material. IED, improvised explosion device IED, was set up at a payment near embassy, damaging a few cars. So national investigation agencies to probe blast near Israel embassy. Hundreds protest in Myanmar amid arrest of Aung San Suu Kyi aide. See, we know that military coup, through a military coup, the military took over the governmental authority in Myanmar. Democratically elected government by National League for Democracy was toppled by the military establishment. Now protesters strike in a massive manner in Myanmar. Trump refuses to testify in impeachment trial. Former President Donald Trump refused to testify in his looming impeachment trial after being called by House prosecutors to give evidence, branding the process unconstitutional. If Trump is impeached, if impeachment motion succeeds, then Donald Trump will not be able to contest the 2024 presidential election. Question number 5. As per RBI's latest monetary policy, the country's retail inflation was -% in December 2020. The answer is the second option, 4.6%. The inflation target for the year was 4%. Now it is just above just above that target. So 4.6, which is some kind of a solace to RBI, especially in a very difficult year. The next question, RBI in its latest monetary policy expects Indian economy to grow by -% in 2021-22. We know that in the economic survey predicted the Indian economy to grow by 11%, but RBI predicts it to grow by 10.5%. RBI's prediction is that the monetary policy expects the Indian economy to grow by 10.5%. We know that economic survey predicted 11% growth. Economic survey predicted 11% growth. RBI predicts 10.5% growth during 2021-22. RBI announces its monetary policy. RBI announces its monetary policy -times a year. How many times does RBI announce its monetary policy? That's a question. The answer is 6 times. It is bi-monthly. RBI announces its monetary policy bi-monthly. Every 2 months RBI announces its monetary policy. It is 6 times. So the main objective of the monetary policy is to ensure price stability and ensure growth. Question number 8. RBI has announced that it would allow to buy government securities directly. Commercial banks, cooperative banks, development banks, state governments, retail investors who are permitted to buy government securities of late. In the latest monetary policy, RBI has given permission to whom to invest in G-Secs. G-Secs means government's debt instruments. It is by selling G-Secs that government is mobilizing debt. Who is the latest category of among these groups who can invest in G-Secs? Who is permitted to invest in G-Secs now as per the latest monetary policy? It is retail investors. For the first time, retail investors are allowed to buy government securities. It is by issuing government securities that the government mobilizes debts. RBI reiterates growth supportive stance, very important. The monetary policy of RBI, very important. Please read. Very important document. Go through all these things. RBI has not changed any basic rates, bank rate, repo rate, reverse repo rate, liquidity adjustment facility, and MSF, marginal standing facilities, all remain the same. We have been looking at whether there will be an upward movement of repo and reverse repo, but the Reserve Bank of India has not made, so it has gone for a kind of an accommodative stance. RBI has gone for an accommodative stance. RBI's preference this time was to continue the growth of the economy. please read. PSUs playing a role in farm sector will not be sold. The government recently during the budget speech said that it will keep only the bare minimum of public sector unit even in strategic sectors. This was a major cause of worry for those people who bat for public sector. But the government now says that PSUs playing a role in farm sector will not be sold. There is already a criticism that the government policy is as good as selling off the family silver. Retail investors to be able to buy government securities directly, says RBI. Very important. It would allow retail investors to open gilt accounts. Gilt-edged securities. Government securities are also called gilt-edged securities. Gilt accounts with the central bank to invest in government securities directly and without help of intermediaries. So the retail public can invest in, retail investors can invest in GSECs without the help of intermediaries. They can start gilt accounts with the Reserve Bank of India directly. The 9th question. Michael Bloomberg, who has been reappointed by the United Nations as its special envoy on climate ambition and solutions, is a nationality of. What is the nationality of Michael Bloomberg? He is the special envoy, UN special envoy on climate ambition and solutions. The answer is USA. He is a former New York mayor, USA. American billionaire. I'm sorry, I made a wrong comment. I said that he was former New York mayor. That is wrong. United Nations says American billionaire Michael Bloomberg has been reappointed as a special envoy to engage governments and businesses in tackling the threat of global warming. So, very important appointment. My dear students, thank you very much for watching the program. We will be meeting again at 3 o'clock with another session, live session on math, QA or reasoning. So, nice meeting you all. Thank you very much. Have a good day ahead. Goodbye.